What is going on, YouTube? Joe here with Cullination Media, and welcome back for the third and final part of our NU comeback session here. And I say comeback because, of course, I was gone forever, and it's great to be back. This session has been overall pretty successful. You guys have shown a lot of support in the comment section and on the likes, and I thank you all for that. As always, you guys are amazing. Best subscribers, best viewers on YouTube. Hands down. I won't even entertain any arguments against that because you guys are simply the best. Simply the best, and you're a big part of why I love doing this. And the other part is because Pokemon, of course. Duh. Alright, let's get into a battle here. Remember, this episode is going to be a little bit longer than last time because it was freaking short because I was not timing things. Today, I'm actually keeping track of how long I'm recording, so we will go about a half hour today and finish off the session, hopefully with a bunch of victories, just victory after victory after victory. But because it's Showdown, it'll be more like forfeit after forfeit after forfeit after forfeit. So, we'll see. Unless we lose, then we won't have a forfeit. Then we'll just get to see the whole battle. So this is a pretty interesting team here. Pretty well put together team from what I can see. It's got the Mantine there, a couple of potential defog users in the Mantine and the Shiftry. A couple weaknesses to rocks as well in the Rotom Fan and the Magmortar. So I'm going to lead off with Angela, and he opts to lead off with Shiftry, which doesn't exactly work out too well for me. I pretty much have to go into my Mawile here. He may go for knockoff, predicting me to switch, but at least we get the Intimidate going, and yeah, he does go for the knockoff. That does like nothing, but unfortunately our leftovers recovery is gone now. So we will have to deal with that, and that will reduce the longevity of chains here. But I do want to get up Stealth Rock if possible, and it is possible because I'm going to do it right now, figuring that Shiftry is going to want to switch, and that is indeed what happens. In comes the Wheezing, which is probably going to try to Will-O-Wisp me here, if I had to guess. And I really don't have much of a switch into this. Unfortunately, I don't have much that can deal with opposing Weezings. Now, Samuel can, but I need to get rid of that, not Samurott. I need to get rid of that Mantine first, because after that's gone, I can just spam Hydro Pump. Even Shiftry is not going to be taking that too well, and pretty much everything is 2-hit KO'd. So, especially with rocks up. So, we're going to go into Angela here, because I can Heal Bell away the status condition, and it's actually quite tempting to go for Toxic, predicting him to want to switch here, but he probably won't. So I'm just going to go for the Heal Bell, and he decides to go for the Taunt. Another Weezing carrying Taunt. That's awesome. That is awesome, because I don't think that's standard. I don't think it is. I mean, I've been away from the meta for a while, so don't listen to anything I'm saying, basically. But, yeah, unfortunately, he's not running enough speed to be able to outpace Lantern here. And we can get a Volt Switch off. He has no ground types or electric type immunities, so I can go for Volt Switch and get momentum every single time that Angela is out, which is lovely. And what is he going to go for here? Will-O-Wisp possibly? Again? Maybe? Because I'm taunted? I'm going to go out into Samuel, and he is going to go for the Will-O-Wisp. That's fine. I can Heal Bell that away later on, or not. It really doesn't matter. The only use I would have for Samuel's physical attack is to Aqua Jet. But we're going to pull a double switch here. I'm trying to get that Mantine out. So I'm going to go back into Angela, and he actually stays in. So he's not falling for that at all. Not falling for that at all. He's just going to stay in. So I'm going to Scald since he's not switching his Weezing out. And we do get the burn and some solid damage as well as he decides to go for the Taunt so that I cannot Heal Bell. And now is he going to go out of the Mantine, possibly? Huh. I don't know why he left his Weezing out like that. Like, he really needs this Weezing to be healthy. Otherwise, if that Mantine also gets weakened and Weezing, he's going to have a hard time with Combusken. And now he's going to go out to Shiftry, actually, which also, that could be pretty scary if he got that burnt, too, because he has no Clerics from what I can see. So, I don't know about that. But we get some solid damage off because we did score a critical hit there. We got 23%, and unfortunately, I really don't have a switch into this. And so I'm going to go into Chains here, get that Intimidate off again. Maybe it doesn't have Leaf Storm, but if it does, it's not going to kill me. It's going to do a lot, but it's not going to kill me. And I can Baton Pass here, or I can just play rough to kill him. Yeah, we're going to play rough. He is going to switch. Gonna go into the Wheezing, and Play Rough does a whopping 9%, and we get the attack drop just for the giggles. And the burn damage is gonna drop him down to 23%, as he's most likely going to go straight for the Will-O-Wisp here, and I'm fine with that because I'm just gonna go into Angla. No, he goes for Flamethrower. Okay, that does 0.5 to Angla, and I could just kill him here, but I want to get rid of the burn on Samurott, so I'm going to go for the Heal Belt, let him burn me, and that's fine. I can just spam Heal Belt until he dies, basically, or doesn't go for Will-O-Wisp. I guess the downside would be if he Sludge Bombs me and then poisons me. That's kind of bad. That is kind of bad. But having this Wheezing out of the way is going to be great, and yeah, he does go for the Sludge Bomb. Don't poison. Okay, he gets the poison, because Sludge Bomb itself does, what, 18%? That's nothing for a stab move. That is nothing. I'm going to Heal Bell again. Am I? Yeah, I guess so. I'm tempted to click Volt Switch. I really am. But I would love if we could just get out of here with no status condition. But we are taking damage. That's the only thing. And Anglet could be very useful to take on quite a bit of his team, actually. It pretty much walls that Rotom fan, and Mantine can't do anything but Toxic it either. And he decides to go for Taunt this time, and he's going to go down to the burn. We're still getting our lefties recovery. That is fantastic. That's pretty much as good a situation as we could have hoped for, despite the poisoning. So yeah, we're in good shape here. As he brings the Shiftry back out, I do have to go back out into Mawile. If he has Leaf Storm, he's probably going to go for it here, or Defog to get rid of that Stealth Rock. No, he's going to go for the Leaf Storm. That does a solid 50%, and we do not have our lefties because they did get knocked off earlier in the match. So our recovery is kind of hampered here. And by hampered, I mean stopped. I'm going to click Baton Pass here in case he wants to switch. No, he's going to go for Explosion, actually. I completely forgot that Shiftry even learns Explosion, let alone would carry it in a competitive battle. But, I mean, it gets you momentum, I guess. But Chains actually survives that, so we can switch that in on Bouffalant when that comes out. So that's great, because we get that extra Intimidate off, and we have Death Fodder, and Angler comes in and gets free lefties, and it's a great time. He pretty much has to go out into Bouffalant here, because the other three Pokemon on his team are walled completely, pretty much, by Angler. So he is most likely going to go for the Earthquake, I would guess. So I'm going to go out into Chains and let him die, basically. No, he actually has Swords Dance, so he's going to get up to +1 when you factor in the Intimidate and the +2. He also shows off the Leftover, so he's a bulky variant. I mean, all Bouffalants are relatively bulky. He's going to set up another Swords Dance, as we do get off a Play Rough. No attack drop this time, but we did get some okay damage going. He's probably going to kill me here, I would guess. Yes, he does. Yes, he does, and he gets more lefties recovery back up to 80%. This is kind of a problem, to be honest. 229 speed is his max speed. I don't know if he's running max speed just because he does have the leftovers. I could very easily go into Chicky and Pete here, and I think that's my play to make. Do I outspeed you? I'm not positive if I outspeed you. If you're running like max speed or something, that could be a little scary. So I'm just going to protect, and he decides to go for the Earthquake and not for Swords Dance, which he could have gone for, but now I'm going to Sky Uppercut him. The question is whether that's going to do 87% or not. I'm really not sure. It's going to be close. It's going to be close. This may be a damage roll right here. Of course, we do have to hit the Sky Uppercut in the first place for it to even matter, so we'll see what happens. We do connect, and it does 73%, so probably not a roll. It looks like we were just not going to get that there. That's fine, because our Combusken really was not going to do too much against the rest of my opponent's team. Maybe the Rotom, like Flare Blitzing it. Possibly. I mean, I guess we could Sky Uppercut the Magmortar too, but it's going to do absolutely nothing against Mantine. And so yeah, other Pokemon are more useful. And so this is why I wanted to get rid of the burn on Samuel, so that we have the Aqua Jet available if needed, but we don't need it because we outspeed Bouffalant. So I'm just going to click Ice Beam. That will hit everything on his team. And if he goes out into Magmortar, obviously I should be able to kill that on the turn after. Honestly, I think Ice Beam plus Rocks plus Aqua Jet would kill it. So he really didn't have a play there. He just lets his Bouffalant go down, and he's going to go out into his Rotom Fan. And I'm definitely just going to go straight into Lantern here, and people just are not predicting for whatever reason. I know it's the bottom of the ladder, but people are not predicting Lantern to want to come in on an electric type attack, and I just legitimately don't understand that. I did predict the Mantine to switch in there, that's why I clicked Toxic, and it just could not connect. It just couldn't. It wasn't meant to be, and he's going to hit on his own Toxic, and we're trading Toxic, and it's just a big Toxic off. We're all poisoned to Toxic Atmosphere, and I still have 4 Heal Bells left, so I'm in a good position, and he's not, basically. I could click Volt Switch here. He may want to switch, cause, like, what is he going to do to me? What does Mantine have? Nothing. He's going to switch out back into his Rotom Fan. He's taking all kinds of Rocks damage to do this. All 3 of his remaining Pokemon are weak to the Stealth Rocks, and now I'm back at 100% thanks to the Volt Absorb and healing off the Toxic, and he is going to forfeit. So that was pretty much in the bag there. I do not think that he had a chance to win unless I severely just misplayed and threw the match away, basically. So we're gonna get into another one, and this is a pretty cool team. I see the Scyther. That's somewhat of a common lead, especially if it's a choiced variant. So I'm tempted to lead off with Chains here, and that's what I'm going to do. I see the potential for a Defog user in Skuntank. I see the potential for a Rapid Spin user in the Kabutops. That Kling Klang is probably going to be Shift Gear. This is likely choiced, I would think. Choiced Rotom. Or I could be defensive too with like Will-O-Wisp. Yeah, it's probably going to go for Will-O-Wisp right here. Either that or Volt Switch. So I'm going to switch in Angela because that's really my only play. And we do see the Will-O-Wisp come out. That's fine. I can go straight for the Heal Bell here. I am going to lose some momentum, but at least I can get rid of the status condition. Actually, I'm very tempted to click Toxic, but he's got 2 Pokemon immune to it. I just feel like he's going to go into his Torterra. I'm going to click Toxic. I'm thinking the Torterra's coming out, and there is the Torterra, and we do nail it with the Toxic, which is great because the residual damage on this is definitely going to help. Whether it's defensive or not, I'm thinking, looking at his team, it's probably defensive. He's got a lot of offensive-ish type of Pokemon that really are not too bulky. So this is probably his Stealth Rock setter. Having this thing Toxic and that residual damage is going to be super helpful in case I'm not able to hit it with an Ice Beam from Samurott. So he is going to set up the rocks there, which is a bit unfortunate because I don't have any way to remove them. My team doesn't really care about hazards too much. So yeah, I don't have any hazard control at all. Hopefully that does not come back to bite me in this battle, but I'm going to click Will-O-Wisp here, predicting him to switch into something. I wasn't sure what it was going to be. He opts to go into the Kabutops. We actually connect on that, but unfortunately it's carrying a Lumberry, but at least we burn that, and I can Will-O-Wisp again here. And that is exactly what I'm going to do, because what are you going to do? Switch back into your Torterra, which literally cannot touch my Weezing at all? I mean, what are you going to do? Wood Hammer? And if it's like a Leech Seeding set, which, now that I'm thinking about it, it might be carrying Leech Seed because it's probably, well no, it is bulkier. It's got lefties, and it's got the Stealth Rock, so when Weezing is out on Torterra, I will taunt it next time, because that's probably the only thing he can do to me. He's going to go into his Skuntank as I switch in Mawile, and I don't know if this is going to be completely physical. They're usually mostly physical. I don't know if they carry the Fire Blast right now. I mean, there's one way to find out. I really want to get Stealth Rocks up, though, because of that Scyther. Am I willing to possibly sacrifice this? I'm going to take that chance right now. And we just get absolutely demolished by a Life Orb Fire Blast from Skuntank. So this is offensive as anything, and wow, that just destroyed Chains. Poor Mawile. To be fair, I thought about it, and I knew it was a possibility, and I still left it out anyway, just to try to get that stealth rock up when he does have a rapid spinner and a defogger. So, yeah, that probably was not the best risk calculation on my part, but what can you do? We got to try to make a little bit of a comeback here. So, I'm thinking I want to go out into Samuel. I don't think this thing can kill me in one hit with anything, and because of that, I think he'll want to switch if I do bring out Samurott here. And he has no switch-ins to Samurott at all. Like, Hydro Pump will 2-hit KO everything on his team. He has no switch-ins, and if he switches in something like Rotom or Kabutops, it might just be dead. So I'm going to click Hydro Pump. He does go into the Rotom. We do connect on the Hydro Pump, and that is gone. One-hit wonder there. So that is fantastic, although Rotom wasn't too big of a threat as long as Angler was healthy. But at least we even the score here, 5 Pokemon apiece. It's probably going to go into Torterra next. Yep, there's the Torterra. I don't know why people do this. I mean, I'm clearly special, so I'm just going to destroy his face with an Ice Beam. Maybe he thought I was just not running any speed, but I have a Life Orb, so yeah. So Torterra is gone now too, which is fantastic. And I don't know what he's going to do here, to be honest. I really do not know what he's going to do. This thing just destroys his team. He's going to go into his Skuntank again, so we're back at square one here. He's going to Sludge Bomb me, I guess. That could kill me from 68% now that I took all that extra Life Orb recoil, but I'm still just going to stay in and Hydro Pump. He decides to go for Sucker Punch, and that's not going to do anywhere near enough, and Hydro Pump takes out the Skuntank too. So Samuel is on an absolute tear right now, taking out half of my opponent's team in 3 turns. Now he's going to go out into his Scyther, which does outspeed me, so I can't click Ice Beam. Instead, I will click Aqua Jet and get off 39% on this thing. And that tells me that this is choiced, because if that was Eviolite, there's no way that that was doing 39% Aqua Jet. No, not happening. So he's got to be either Choice Scarf or Choice Band. I think Banded is a little bit more popular, more common. So I would guess that's what it is. I mean, it really doesn't matter either way, because Scyther can't really do anything to Weezing. I could go out into Angler here because he's locked into Aerial Ace, and then I can just Volt Switch. So I'm going to take advantage of that. Like I said, we know this thing is choiced, so I can do whatever I want. I could Scald here too. I could Heal Bell and get rid of the burn if I wanted to, but I'm thinking I want to Volt Switch and get some momentum. And he is going to switch into his Kling Clang, and we do score a critical hit on that, which has been unfortunate for my opponent, because that's a solid chunk doing 39%. Yeah, that's a bit unfortunate. I really don't have anything to take it on other than Chicky and Pete here, which should be able to handle it. I just need to play around the Shift Gear. Could go into Weezing and Will-O-Wisp it, but it could have a Lumberry. And then I don't want him just getting a boost. So he's going to show off the Leftovers and not the Lumberry. Okay, so he's probably Substitute then. Probably Substitute Shift Gear. And I want to click Sky Uppercut in case he wants to get a little bit tricky here and switch in his Kabutops. Will he do that? I really don't know. But I'm going to click Sky Uppercut anyway, and he does show off the Substitute. I kind of expected him to have that. And thankfully Sky Uppercut does connect. We don't allow that Substitute to go up, which could be dangerous. I can click Flare Blitz this turn, but I'm not going to have to because we do see the forfeit there, and we can move on to the next battle. So yeah, we're at about 19 minutes, so this is probably going to be the last battle either way, regardless of how long it takes. Well, that's not true. If he forfeits in like 5 seconds, then maybe I'll reconsider. This is taking a long time to load. There we go. Wow, really cool team. Really, really cool team. That's awesome to see Dugong. Torkoal is here. Chatot is freaking annoying because everybody just loves to spam Chatter because Confusion is just so amazing. Another Torterra. Victory Bell is super dangerous. And Tauros is a threat too. So this is a threatening team. I do see that he's got a couple of Pokemon weak to rocks. And by a couple, I mean half his team. The entire right side there. Chatot, Torkoal, and Dugong, all rock weak. But he does have Rapid Spin. If we can lure that Torkoal out and get rid of it early, that'd be great. He actually leads off with a Chatot. I was expecting him to want to lead off with the Torkoal to set up rocks. I was going to taunt it, but this is not a good matchup for me at all. In fact, this Chatot is just bad news for my team, to be honest. I don't have much of a defense against Boom Burst. He opts to go for Chatter there, and yeah, that doesn't really do very much damage. Obviously, it's a resisted hit, but we are confused, so that kind of stinks. I guess I should hard switch. I guess I should do that. He could just Boom Burst me here, to be honest. I don't think he's going to want to do that, though, because it's not going to kill him. If I break through and Volt Switch, he's dead. So he's probably not going to do that. He did show off the Life Orb, though, so that's some useful information. He's actually going to go into the Tauros as I switch in my Weezing, and that works very, very well. Very, very well. I wasn't sure exactly what he was going to go into there, but I figured it would be the Victory Bell or the Torterra, and he's going to go into his Torkoal here as I do fire off a Sludge Bomb. I kind of figured he would predict me to go for Will-O-Wisp, and now I'm going to taunt this thing so it cannot set up rocks, and it cannot Will-O-Wisp me. He's going to have to Lava Plume, and he tried to Yawn me, actually. Okay, it's a move you don't see too often on Torkoal, but pretty cool nonetheless. Now he has to Lava Plume or Switch, and I can Sludge Bomb if I want. Actually, I could Will-O-Wisp too, or I could try to predict what he wants to switch into. But I think my best play here is to just go for the Sludge Bomb. Toxic Spikes could be another decent option, but he does have that Victory Bell, a grounded poison type. So unless we get rid of that, it's really not going to make a lot of sense. We do score the poison as he stays into Lava Plume me, and he does not get the burn. So yeah, that's just a bit unfortunate for my opponent. He does not show Lefty, so I'm guessing he's like Rocky Helmet. I don't know what else Torkoal will carry. But I do outspeed him, so I can just click Sludge Bomb again. And he just leaves his Torkoal in. Alright, so now we are free to set up Stealth Rocks. And at this point, I would be willing to sacrifice Mawile just to get up those rocks, because it's going to be very, very useful for this freaking Chatot, which is a problem. That could win him the game, actually, this Chatot, so we need to get rid of that as soon as possible. He just clicks Boom Burst this time, predicting me to go out into Angela, and that's a 2-hit KO. Wow, that did a lot of damage, 56%, that's crazy. He has no reason to just not click it again, so I think we have to sacrifice something here. And it's looking like it's going to have to be Angela, because he's got double grass types and Tauros that probably has Earthquake. So yeah, we're going to have to sacrifice Angela. And at least we do get a little bit more Life Orb damage going on this thing. It's down to 71% now. And what I can do is go into my Combusken. I can Protect and then Flare Blitz it. He could switch in his Dugong. Decisions. What else could I do? I'm kind of tempted to just go into Mawile here and just set up Stealth Rock right now, and then deal with the Chatot. So I'm gonna do that, and oh, just kidding. He has Heat Wave. Why did I do that? That was not a good play. I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself there. Yeah, there's the Heat Wave. At least we get more Life Orb damage, which means less recoil for Chicken Pete, but that was just a nonsense play on my part. I don't know why I did that. Getting way too ahead of myself with the Stealth Rocks, so now we're just gonna have to deal with this. Rookie mistake. That was the result of making a decision too quickly. So we get the Protect off, and now he might switch into Dugong. It's possible. I'm very tempted to click Swords Dance, but if I get it wrong, I lose. So I have to click Flare Blitz. He opts to leave the Chatot in, and that is dead. So that was the biggest threat on the team. That's just absolutely fantastic. To be fair, if he switched in Dugong, I could have Sky Uppercutted it, and maybe he didn't want to take the risk of taking all that extra damage. I don't think it would be an Oko, to be honest. Dugong has some decent bulk. Flare Blitz should be able to kill Torterra, I would guess. Well, that could be physically defensive. Would definitely get rid of Victory Bell, whose only priority is Sucker Punch, which is not very effective. And Sky Uppercut should take care of Tauros as well, because I don't think Tauros has that much bulk, unless it's Intimidate. But they're almost always Sheer Force. So he's gonna go into the Torterra here. That's a good play. That's a good play because it's quite likely that Flare Blitz unboosted will not be enough to take out a physically defensive Torterra. And looking at his team, it's probably physically defensive. So I guess we have to go into Wheezing, and he could set up Stealth Rocks here. He could just try to kill me. I'm not really sure what he's going to want to do. He opts to go for the Earthquake, which is perfect for me. I get a free switch in, free lefties / Black Sludge, and I could Will-O-Wisp here. Because anything on his team would be nice to have burned, but I'm just going to go for Taunt because I do not want him Leech Seeding me. That's probably the only thing he can do, and he did indeed try to go for the Leech Seed there. So he plays right into our hand, and now I can fire off a Will-O-Wisp and get some residual damage going on something. As he decides to go into the Dugong, we do connect on the Willow. Thankfully, I was a little bit afraid we were going to miss there, but we're in good shape. We are in good shape. Now, I need this Wheezing to be able to take on the, well, not necessarily. Samuel can take on the Torterra because I can just Ice Beam it. I'm going to go into Samuel here because that's really my only switch into a Dugong. He decides to go for the Encore to try to lock me into that Willow, but thankfully we get out of that. He does show off the lefties, so it's a bulkier variant. I mean, nobody really runs offensive Dugong, so I guess that's something. He's probably going to stay in here. I don't know if he's going to predict me to have Grass Knot or not. Most people don't. They like never see Grass Knot coming, but this time he does, or it was a lucky switch as he goes into his Victory Bell, which shows off the Black Sludge. That is interesting. They're almost always Lumberry or Life Orb. That is interesting indeed. Now, this Victory Bell can't really do anything to my Wheezing, especially if it's physical. Like, the most it can do is Knock Off or Sucker Punch. And actually, he's Black Sludge. He's bulky. He's got to be bulkier. I should be able to outspeed this. It's a little bit risky because he could just Oko me here, but I'm pretty sure he's bulky. I'm going to go for Ice Beam. Yep, he leaves his Victory Bell in. It actually survives the Life Orb Ice Beam and connects on a Sleep Powder. That is unfortunate. Now, he's probably just going to kill me here, I would assume, as we stay fast asleep. No, he goes for the Growth. That was a greedy play. That's a greedy play. I understand that, no, maybe it's not that greedy. As we do wake up the second turn, that really stinks. That really, really stinks. Sorry about that, but I shouldn't be apologizing. It's just how it goes. But I was thinking that it was kind of a greedy play because he was kind of in a bad spot there. Why would you then try to set up? But I guess he was going for all of the marbles, I suppose. I still don't know if he was physical or special or not, so I guess that kind of matters because of Wheezing, but I don't know. I don't know what to say there. He probably has Zen Headbutt, but I have to go into Wheezing anyway. So he does show off the Zen Headbutt. Please don't flinch. Thank you very much. We get off the Sludge Bomb, and we get the Poison. The Hacks is really in our favor here. Just this whole episode / part. It's just, I don't know. I feel like it's all just kind of going our way, with the exception of what? The Mist Toxic? Is that about it? That's really not that bad if that's the only problem that we've had. It wasn't even game-changing. So we could just let him die here. The Wheezing could be very, very useful for that Torterra. We're down to the nitty-gritty here. If I make a really bad play, I could lose the match. So I'm just going to let him take out my Wheezing, and we're going to rely on the combination of Chicky and Pete the Combusken and Floor the Lilligant to bring home this battle. I knew at all costs I had to keep the Lilligant alive to take on the Dugong, and I needed either Wheezing or the Combusken to take on the Torterra, and he is going to protect very nicely here and bring it in. Now I have a decision to make. Do I try to go for the Flare Blitz, which probably won't kill, Or do I get a little bit cheeky and switch in my Lilligant and attempt to take 2 Earthquakes, banking on the fact that this is a bulkier, defensive-ish Torterra, and I'm going to take the riskier play, I think. Or the more, I don't know, the sexier play, basically. Yeah, that's it. Let's call it sexy. That sounds nice. I don't know if it was the riskier play, but it sure was sexy. We're going to go for the Quiver Dance here. What am I saying? Why? Why do I talk sometimes? Why? Go for the Quiver Dance. We can take another Earthquake, barring a critical hit. He does opt to stay in and go for the Earthquake again, which does the exact same amount of damage. And now we can Giga Drain, and we have to hope that we get enough HP back, which we should, because this is a max HP Torterra. And we do get just enough back with a little bit to spare. Unfortunately, he did get a lower roll that time. Kind of stinks for him, but even if he got a max roll, it wasn't going to matter. He needed to get a critical hit, and with the extra speed, I do outpace the Tauros, which we know is not Choice Scarf because it did switch moves from Frustration to Zen Headbutt. So he's going to forfeit, as Lilligant was going to be able to clean up the rest of his team. He could have had Ice Shard, I guess, on the Dugong, but I was going to get a lot of HP back this turn and most likely get outside of the range of Ice Shard being able to kill, and it was defensive Dugong, so that is that. But we're going to call it quits here after a bunch of victories. We'll get up to a whopping 1,200 on the ladder. Hooray for that. Hope you guys enjoyed the session and this episode. If you did, please make sure you're leaving a like, rating, or comment, or whatever you would like to do, of course, and I will see you all next time. But until then, game on.